Hey everyone, I am Jen with Jen's Creative Stampers, and I'm excited to be coming to you on a recorded video to show you how to put together our classic wedding card class that Judy and I have collaborated on. We're super excited. The trio class, I hope that you all got all three classes. They were so fun to create, and we had a ball just putting all of that together for you. And I hope that you really enjoy each one of these. So, the first one we're going to do today is the classic wedding. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. I have some water, so don't mind me when I have to take a drink. But let me go ahead and point you down. I know that you all got the written instructions, but we really wanted to put together the videos because the two of us really felt like the videos with the tutorials would really answer all the questions if you had any at all. So if you have any questions in addition to this, do not feel bad about reaching out. You can reach me directly at jenscreativestampers.com on my website. Judy also has my email if you want to go ahead and shoot me an email there as well. But hope that you love this class, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here are all of the elements that go with the class. We obviously have the classic wedding stamp set, the dies, which mine are kind of in disarray because I've been creating like crazy with it. They make, you saw, beautiful wedding cards, which are so fun. I love the fact that they're photopolymer as well, and they've got that distinctive kind of look to them, to the windows, to the tires, the hearts in the car. So that is super fun. We also use these amazing arches, everyday arches dies, which I'm so excited to say that they are sticking around, and I have a feeling they'll be around for a long time. So it gives you a lot of variety to use in all of your projects going forward. We also used in this card class the iridescent faceted gems, which are one of my favorites only because they are blinging like crazy. They catch the light so beautifully, and they go with everything. And in addition to that, we have the silver and white sheer ribbon, which again is one of my favorites. So you got a whole bolt of that, and then you got a half a pack of this Serene Love paper, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's no longer available, but each one of you got a half a pack, which we thought was an awesome value for you as well. So for the card class, we're going to be using, I believe I pulled all the right colors, Petal Pink, Pool Party, Basic Beige, Night of Navy, Old Olive, and our fun Standby Memento Black. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We will start with card number 1. I'm going to leave my stuff over here. I may go back and forth to go ahead and die cut, so I will let you know if I have to step away. Okay, so the first card, let's bring it up. Now, I, like you, I also have my tutorial in front of me also. Okay, so we'll do this all together. And just remember, you can stop, pause, rewind, and replay if you want or you need. So there's no worry in that. This is our very first card. I love this card. It has a nice array of hearts on there. And I love the blue car and the roses that are on the back. So super pretty. And you can see too that I just wrapped it around, so it's not super fancy, but it is held on by the car. So let's go ahead and start with that card first. So your packet probably looks something like this with all the elements for card number 1. And you will be doing 2 of each one, which again, we really wanted to bring the value to you to make this class super fun. You can give one away, keep one for your own stash, and recreate it as you want and need. Okay, so get my stuff organized. So for this one, The designer series paper that I chose to go with this was this piece right here. So you can, I'll walk you through the steps and exactly how large to cut that. That should be the only thing that you have to cut is going to be your designer paper, okay? So this one is going to be layer number 2. And layer 2 is cut down to 4 inches by 1.5. So let me make sure mine is cut. I just pulled it out of the packet. There's 4 by 1.5. So I'm going to cut it down just a little bit. And then let me make sure that we have everything else that we need for this card. You have your red cardstock as well. Yep, that's it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So if it's helpful, I'll leave this over here to the side for you to see it as well and to reflect over. All right, so what we're going to do, this is a piece of thick basic white cardstock. And I use the thick basic white anytime that I use white as a base. That is because it's much heavier and it will just be a nicer card for you and not so easily to bend. But you will go ahead and score this at 5.5, which is directly in half. Okay. And you'll want to go ahead and burnish that score line as well to keep it nice and flat. Okay. And then, as I said, in step number 2, you're going to cut your designer series paper, which is layer 2. You can choose this piece or any other piece. I just liked it because it went with the blue card. The coordination is what I love. I'm going to actually flip this. Nah, let's do this side. I don't always score exactly right. Do you guys ever do that? So like when you put it together, you're like, oh, that's cattywampus. Let me see if I can fix it real quick. Just try to straighten it out a little bit here. All right, it's good enough. But what I did is I went ahead and just aligned this along the bottom so that it had that typical 1/4 inch border. And you can go ahead and just adhere this down, okay? So adhere it flat to your cardstock. All right. And then what you can do is you can just take your ribbon. This is what I said in the directions. You just literally wrap it from inside and wrap it around. I did try to keep the ribbon kind of on the top of that designer paper. Okay, so kind of pull it and get it to where you can tie a cute little bow. Make sure your bow is off to the side. If you don't get it off to the side in the beginning, it's okay. It's not glued down, so we can move it around, right? So no problem there. We're just getting things in place. And get your tails the way you want them. And then just give it a little snip, okay? I typically will wait to cut it off the bolt just to make sure that I get it exactly like I want it first, okay? So that's how we're going to start this card. And then step 3 is die cut layer 3 from the Everyday Arches die, which is the 4th from the largest. Let me get my dies over here. So 4th from the largest, 1, 2, 3, 4. I know Judy tends to measure at the bottom here, which is also a really easy way to identify. So you're going to take that die and you are going to die cut the layer 4, which is the, just going back up to the top here, actually layer 3. Yeah, layer 3. That is our basic beige. Okay. I'm also reading my directions to make sure that I'm getting this all accurate and correct. Now, when I went ahead and wrote the directions, I did write it so that my intention was that you could use this bottom piece for the banner on the back of the car as well. So we can go ahead and run that the same time and just run it through the one time, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put that on here just like that, and I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine, okay? Okay, and then you get this. So we get our pieces that we wanted. And then this piece is trash. So super easy, right? Okay, so we've got that. Now we are going to go ahead and start running through the other elements and stamping also. Okay, pulling my directions back up here. We are going to, on step number 4, and number 3, going back up here. I'm not used to reading my own directions, so that's a little wonky, I'll be honest. So we are going to layer 2, stamp congratulations in Night of Navy and die cut. Okay, so that's what we did. We're going to go ahead and get our stamping out here. We're going to do Night of Navy, and we are going to stamp that banner, which says, what does it say? Congratulations. I love that. Or you can put it in there and say, you know, just married. So that would be cute. I'll do mine in just married, just to have something different. And you can see an alternative, and then you can go ahead and choose which one you like. All right, so I just get a little die. Just married. And it's already kind of in that shape. Just give it some firm pressure and you're good to go. All right, so we have that, and now we're going to get our car, the outside of the car, and we're going to put that on a large block. I am using block number E like Echo, and I'm just going to put it down. Now you can go ahead and put it on your work surface and then literally just pick it up, and you know that it's not going to be cattywampus or crooked or anything like that. So you can do that. I'm going to cap my navy just for a second so I don't mess anything up. I'm going to get my Memento black out here, and I'm just going to ink up my car, and this is to give it the outline. And then we'll use the inside, which is that distinctive stamp, which I love so very much. And we're just going to, I'm going to conserve some of my cardstock here. And I'm going to give it some firm pressure again and come straight up. All right. And then I'm going to take that same exact block, and I'm going to take my inside of my car, as mentioned, and I'm going to bring my navy back out. And you will want to stamp off on this as well. Making sure I said that yes. So stamp off of the Night of Navy. And it won't be so intense that way. Looking for my sheet here. I have 2 of them. So you're just going to use any of your scraps, stamp off. Now I always kind of huff it. I don't know how long y'all have been around, but we used to huff stamps all the time. It just keeps it so it's good and moist, and it gives you a good solid image. So I'll do that. Just huff it, line it back up. I typically like to line it up between the tail lights and the windows in the back. Okay, that tends to give me a pretty good image there. So based on how much you stamp off, you know, that'll take off more ink, or if you just lightly stamp off, it'll leave more ink on. Okay, So I'm happy with that. And then in addition to that, let me keep my stamps, putting them away so I'm not causing a big mess. Let me take this plastic off here. All right. You guys take this plastic off of your stamps, that way you can just much more easily get to them. Tends to work better for me when I'm doing a class. Okay. All right, so we've got that, and now what we're going to do is I need a smaller block because I'm also going to do the windows the same way that we just did the car. We're going to do the windows and pool party. Let me switch those ink pads out. All right. And I'm going to stamp off and go down on my windows. All right. Easy does it. And again, the same exact thing using the wheel. And that's going to be in gray granite or any other. If you have another gray, that's fine. Use that too. It should be a-okay, no problem. But we're going to stamp off on all of these elements. Let me just not stamp off on the gray granite. It kind of gives a darker image on the tires. You can see if you like that better or if you like it stamped off. I also, you could do gray, basic gray, which gives you a little bit darker. Anyway, you have options is my point. Okay, so we've got that. And now directions are to die cut that. And also we're going to die cut the, let's get the tail lights. Where are they? There's a teeny tiny little die. That goes for that. Here's for the car. And we also have a long piece, it should be 1x4, for the bumper. So we can run all of this stuff through at one time, right? And then, let's see here. The hanging ribbon is for this Night of Navy. And the petal pink will be for the hearts. And so you got the big hearts and you've got the little hearts. So you definitely want one of each, right? Because the large hearts are going to be attached here to this little hanging bow. And the little hearts, we're going to kind of use those as embellishments. And then the pretty roses will go down here. So you use that whole piece of petal pink. And let me go ahead and run this through. You can pause the video or fast forward. I will be back in 1 second. All right, everything's on the platform, running it all through at one time. My pink just moved, so I'm going to move it back out. And try that piece again. Main thing is to keep it tight, right, when you run it through. All right, there we go. Okay, so here's everything. Have our car. Have all of our roses, our hearts, our tiny hearts, our bumper. Looks like that bumper didn't get all the way cut out. We'll have to fix that. And I love all these little heart elements and these little roses, but that is like a perfect piece, perfect size, right? So just unload these off your platform, and we will use those and decorate. It's the fun part, isn't it? Love it. Okay. Had such a fun time creating this card class for y'all. All right, and the last thing, so I do have some white left over, and anytime that I put a class together, I always tend to give you more than what you need. So you can actually just cut that part off and keep this as scrap so you can use it for anything else in the card class. However, this did not get cut fully, so I'm just going to line that back up, and I'm going to run this back through, and that way I have my bumper cut out correctly. And it popped right out that time, so that is perfect. Okay, so I think we have, oops, you know what? I didn't get the tail lights. Let me run that through real quick. Okay, now we have everything that we need. My little tail lights are so tiny, aren't they? All right, so let me go ahead and just take those out. Now we have what we need. Okay, so let's go ahead and assemble. I'm going to close that back up. We're going to bring our card base back and put all of our pieces up here so that we have everything together. If we need something else, we are going to need something else. We need to go ahead and stamp the greenery, which we'll do. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our tail lights. Now, if you're not an avid gluer, liquid glue user, you can use, I don't know, you can use whatever you want. I love the liquid glue, but I know a lot of people have a love-hate relationship with it. And your tail lights, I feel like they have like a skinnier top and a wider base to the lights. So you may or may not agree with me. Maybe it's just my eyes thinking I see that. But I put the skinnier part at the top and the wider part at the bottom. And then I literally just glued my bumper on. I glued it flat, and again, just a little bit of adhesive. You can use Seal Plus, whatever you prefer. Just building our little car. Now, if you want to step it up, you absolutely can. And you say, well, how the heck do I do that, Jen? Well, you know, with all of these really cool distinctive stamps that we have from Stampin' Up, we can also use our alcohol markers, and you can come in here and you can draw some of these details. Just follow the line. You don't have to do this. This is, again, only if you want to, but I think it adds a little something to your car, right? Wasn't in the directions, but you can do it or not. So I'll do it on this one to show you a variation. Okay. Gonna come in there along that bottom. Now this is light Night of Navy, in case you're wondering. I'm just going to do the inside elements there and that top of the back, okay? And I did the little dashes along, so you can kind of see. That looks fun, doesn't it? You can also do the same thing. You can go as fancy as you want, you guys. I mean, this is why you take classes to go, because you can literally fancy schmancy it up as much as you want. And you know, it's not necessary, but it's possible. Okay, so there we go. And we are going to line this arched die up to where we have it down, I don't know, maybe that's like a quarter of an inch, right? And what we're going to do is you can take your dimensionals, and if you have minis, you can bring those out too. Bring mine out. And I am going to put it behind my bow. And I always typically will lay it out before I actually glue this whole piece down. I just always do that, and I teach in my classes to do that too. So you've got 3 hearts somewhere. You've got a big one, a medium, and a small, and then you've got all those teeny ones, right? So there's a difference. So you can choose to put mini dimensionals behind, or you can just go ahead and glue them down to those little like long thingies. I don't know what you call them. But you know, it probably is going to stay better by attaching them on dimensionals. Now, I'm just remembering, I'm seeing how big these are. You may want to cut one memento. So I just pulled that whole sucker off. That's okay. You may want to cut that down a little bit so it doesn't show through as much. And what I mean by that is, where are my scissors? Scissors. Y'all see my scissors? Scissors. I'm going to grab another pair. So you may want to cut some of this off to kind of make it to where it's not showing through on the underneath side, especially on that little one. I feel like it's showing through under here too. So let me just snip that a little bit. A little bit of surgery. It wasn't in the directions, but surgery is always okay if it makes our card look better, right? So there's that one, and then I'm going to also do it to this one as well. Because our bow is also on dimensionals, it's okay. It's going to match perfectly, and it's so pretty. There we go, like that. So again, we are just going to lay this out so that we can see exactly where we're going with it. We are going to, if you need to move your bow over, trying to move that around, okay? So you can move that over, and you want to do it over top of that bow, again, kind of like right there. All right, to get the proper placement, I'm just going to glue it as I have it down where I want it. Give it a minute, and glue this part down here, that part down there. That should be golden. With the liquid glue, you know, you kind of have to give it a minute, but it's like super friendly to allow you to kind of get things in place too, which I really love that. Okay. So then I'm going to take my car. I know exactly where my car is going to go because I am going to place it right over top of where that arched die goes ahead and attaches itself where they come together. So I'm going to add my dimensionals behind my car, and I'm going to just do a few of them. Use as many as you want or need. Okay. And then, again, since we laid it out, we know exactly where it's going. Everybody with me? If you have any questions, let me know. It's like a virtual classroom, right? So fun. All right, so go ahead and put that down. And then we've got our Just Married, which we're going to put right up there, and we're going to attach that with dimensionals. I'm going to use minis just because I have them out, and I can stab them really easily. There we go. There we go. And then I do the same thing to get them off. Just take your pick tool and just pull them right off. Okay. So I'm going to lay this down, make sure I get it even on both sides. So fun, right? You guys like that so far? And then same exact thing on the roses. I might even cut some of those in half. Let me see if I can go this way. Just gonna cut those right in half, and then stuck to me. You take your pick tool. I'm just gonna put the half dimensionals on the backs, on the top, because I kind of want these roses, if you can see, I kind of want those roses to kind of lay along this edge right here. Okay, so that's kind of an easy way to kind of get them to lay down easily. We're going to pop up the top of it and let the bottom lay flat. And there we go. I think there's like 5, no, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7. So see, I didn't even use them all. So you can use 5 if you want. Odd numbers are good. There's 4. Let's do 5. Let's see what they look like. All right, so I've got 1 in the middle, 1 over here. I'm trying to keep that paper on there. 2. There's 3. Take your pick tool as a friend if you've got big fingers like mine. Let's stick that with this. Oops, come on back here. There's 4. I'm just laying them out, right? I'm a big proponent of that. Lay it out before you stick it down. Once it's stuck, you're married to it. No pun intended with this card, right? All right, so there's what 5 looks like. I kind of like 5 better. This one I did 6. Can you see how they're a little bit crowded? Cute, but super crowded. I'm just going to go with 5. I think that will serve us well. I'm going to start with the middle. I want to get the middle in the center of my car, or the banner. There's that one. And then you can start just building it, right? You take the contact paper off, and you are good. Okay. We're on a roll, you guys. Okay. So there are the beautiful pink roses. I want to get it kind of down there snug. There we go. Okay. So that is all adhered down. We're good to go. We have 2 extra roses to boot. So don't forget to use those. They're really, really pretty. Go back over there. Okay. So now I'm just going to add some glue. You can also do glue dots. And add your hearts however you want. Again, I kind of feel like they're like little embellishments. I think they're pretty. I love the little teeny tiny ones. Put that one over here. And then flip that over so I can get the right side. All right, so we've got that, right? The only thing that we did not do that we need to do is to take that little piece of basic white that we gave you, and you need to take your old olive, and you're going to need to stamp your, let's put our card out of the way for a momento. you're going to need to stamp your, the greenery. What do we call that? I don't know, greenery. So let me grab that. That is one stamp actually, but it die cuts into two, okay? So just stamp that. That's also distinctive, so it comes out real pretty. And then you can just grab your die and run that through as well. And where is mine? I'm not finding it, not seeing it. Here it is, it's hidden. Okay, and then we will go ahead and pop that up and I'll show you how we do that. So let's go ahead and run it and we'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, as I said, it die cuts into two pieces even though it's one die. So you can throw away the basic white left over from that and bring your card back in. And simply what we're going to do is I took the large dimensionals and I just cut them in half. And then I literally just laid them. I dimensionaled it to towards the bottom or the outer edge, right, of this here. I put it right underneath that bow. And that way we could still see the bow and you have the real pretty detail of the greenery. So it looks like it's all one piece kind of coming down there. And that, my friends, is almost your first card. So we have, where are my bling? My bling packet, here it is. It's hidden. There are my scissors. It's amazing what you find when you lift things up, right? So I like to do odd numbers. That's the suggested rule, right? So I'm gonna do another one over here. Put it right over there. And that, my friends, is your very first card. Do you like that? I hope that you do. I love this card. Let me see if I can bring this back in. Make sure we are good. Here we are in picture. All right. So we are going to move on. Let me scroll down on my directions. And I need to make sure I put it up here for you to see. Okay, so this second card, also a fun card. You can go ahead and clear off your table from this card and we will get started. Just 1 second. All right, so here we go, here we go. So that is the first card. Hope you love that. Second card is this one. You will pull out your items for card number 2 and the designer paper. You can choose which one you want to use. Don't have to use the same thing that I did. But again, your packet probably looks something like this with all the pieces in it. Okay. And the directions start out by saying that we have the basic beige, the large piece is going to be your card base, right? And then we have Serene Love Designer Series paper cut 4 1/4 by 11. So for this one, I'm going to use, of course, the old olive because I want it to coordinate. I'm going to use that piece and I'm going to cut it down to 4 1/4 by 11 inches. So it means we're going to cut that full length and then we're going to pull our arm out and we're going to cut 1 inch off, right? Because it's 12 by 12. So cut that off at 11 inches. There. All right. And then at the directions at the bottom, that's layer 2. We are going to simply score that right in half. Let me make sure here. Yep, score, just fold it right in half. I want the flowers on the outside. So I'm just going to do this. There you go. Okay, now what's really important here is that we are going to choose the die that is third from the largest, which is this one right here. Okay, let me just double check myself. That's going to be for this layer. All right, that's our base. And then we have the, let me just double check here. Bum, 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 bum. Should have the largest die. And we're going to die cut that folded so that you have a little bit of space. I tried to show you at the pictures at the bottom, but a little bit of space here at the top so that it will hinge open, and that's the basis of your card. Okay, so let me run these two. Again, you're going to run this one not all the way. You don't want it completely over top, or you're going to have 2 pieces. You want 1 piece and it's slightly over the, you want some of that binding to be showing so you can almost stick your fingernail through. Okay, so let's run those through and we'll be right back. Okay, so here we go. You can throw the other piece of that away, but you see how this is. I like the polka dot too. Isn't that pretty? I like how it's different. And then we can throw this piece out as well. So there we go. Put these back on our magnet sheet if you, or packet, however you store your dies. And then what we're going to do is clean up our mess. You guys, are y'all messy when you craft too? I get really messy. It is like a hot mess. Okay, so there we go. So we've got those pieces. Now you should have 2 pieces of basic white, which are the exact same size, and those are 4 by 5 1/4. One is for the car and the can dies, and then the other one is going to be for your inside. We will go ahead and die cut that one as well, or you could use a basic beige. Actually, we did do the basic beige. Give me a minute. That goes on the outside. I did white on this one, so we can go ahead and die cut the white, and I think we should do that now. Let me just double check. Again, going through my own directions. And then identifying which number this is. All right, so die cut, I said 2 of the, yeah. So one's on the inside of the card using basic beige ink. So that, again, is going to be third from the largest, which we just did in the, for the first one there. We're going to do it again for this one. All right, and then this one we're going to go ahead and stamp the car. And yeah, we will, let me go ahead and also grab the cans. Cans are so cute on this, aren't they? So the cans, let me see. This will go actually on with the card because there's going to be more room. So let me die cut this. Alright, so we've got that one as well. And then let's go ahead and do our car. Same way, we're going to pull out our basic, our Memento Black. And we are going to get that large block, lay it out here, do it the right way. Ink it up real good. Gonna do that down on the bottom. There we go. Clean it. And I'm going to use the same block to do the outside or the inside of it. Okay, that's going to be an old olive. And we're going to stamp off as well. Let me get my little paper over here again. Okay. Stamp that off. Line it up on the windows and the tail lights, right? Super, super easy that way. It kind of gives you that 3-point kind of look where you're going. So pretty. Love that. Okay, so got that done. Then we are going to, like I said, we're going to die cut that piece of the, get this up where you can actually see it. The cans, we probably need to stamp those first in basic beige. Okay, so let's get those out here as well. Looks like I've got ink on my finger. It's getting on my paper. As long as that doesn't get on my card, I think I'm good. Okay, so here we go. Basic beige on those cute little cans. And then in addition to that, we have this piece here of our basic beige cardstock. We're going to go ahead and run through the little heart. What is that? That's not a heart. That's the like piece that hangs down the ribbon. And we'll do our card at the same time as all of these. And then we should be good. I like to run everything through at once, right? Can you tell? So that we get everything here. Last piece I need is my bumper. Should be a 1x4 piece for you also. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, we'll be right back in 1 second and we'll assemble. Okay, I'm just going to bring my little platform over here. There we go. That's gone. This here. Here's my cute little bow. I love this so much. Okay, and then my cans. There there we go. Okay, so I have some white left over, so I may keep on that for a little bit. And then we will start to assemble. I think we are about ready for that. Let's go ahead and start with, we need to do our windows in our pool party. I don't think I'm going to stamp off this time on that one. And we'll just see how it goes there on that one. Let me clean off my little tire here so it gets good traction on the, there we go. Okay, so the windows are here. It's going to be dark. I can already tell I re-inked a lot of these pads that I have. And then, so I did stamp off ultimately. And then I'm going to do my tires. I'm going to do in the basic beige. What did I say? Did I say the gray granite? I did. So let's get gray granite back out. I'm just going to go down full strength on that one and that one. Okay, so there we go. And then lastly, we want to stamp kind of at the top of this. This will kind of give us a guide on where to put everything, and that is to the happy couple, right? Kind of put that right at the top. So let me get that stamp out here. Put these others away. And we'll see what we got. To the happy couple. It's this one. Okay. And we'll do that in the Memento Black. Ooh, that got really inked up there. I did my Memento Black the other day, re-inked it, and it definitely took to the ink, so try to be light-handed with it. There we go. That looks good. Okay. So then what we do is I want to adhere it layer by layer, right? So I'm going to take my the functioning card, right? And I'm just going to put that right there. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down and glue it flat. I love the roses in the background. I think that's real pretty. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my ribbon and I'm going to tie a pretty bow. You want to get your mini glue dots out and literally just tie it, stick it right down there. Kind of stuck it really to the designer paper, and then give it a firm hold there for a little bit. You can do your tails as long as you want. This one I'm going to do a little bit longer than I did my original. I think it looks really pretty. Looks kind of wedding-ish, doesn't it? You open it up, pretty. All right, and then here we're going to literally we're going to pop this up on dimensionals. I'm going to get the big ones and see where we have, let's see here, those tires, put them there, and then again put them at the top. I'm gonna run out of dimensionals. That's okay. I probably have, I don't know, 15 packs. I go through them like crazy. I literally add them to every single order, you guys. All right, so I've got those, and so now I'm going to should have mentioned this before, but you want to put it high enough so that you have enough room to attach the little bow here. But if you put it up kind of, well, you can kind of see, right? You can attach it higher if you need to. And remember, you've also got this going behind it, so you're not like running out of room, okay? Just so that you know. But you want to go ahead and attach that. So let's do the bumper next. We'll just take it step by step, right? Super easy. And this car on the tail lights, I just did the, instead of die cutting, I actually just grabbed the Real Red Stampin' Blend. This is the light one. Probably grab the dark one. It's fine. If you have the light or the dark or any other color red, I'll do the dark and you can see the difference. Probably a slight difference there is. So you can just fancy it up however you want. Okay, and then again, same exact thing. So to the bumper, we're going to attach the mini dimensional. And I'm just going to take one of those and put it right in the middle, pull that off, and try to get it unstuck there off my, you guys see it better like that? Hopefully this is, there you go. In the middle, right? Now the cans, you don't have to cut these little nubs or whatever they are. All I did, so you can do two things. You can add a little dab of glue on each one of them. This is what I did when I put my card together originally. Now I didn't cut these out too straight, so hopefully you did a better job than I did. But I just literally laid those down on there. Fussy cutting these to make them more uniform. Right, so like this. And then if you are afraid they're going to get kind of knocked around or whatever, you can also put little dimensionals. I would do minis underneath them. And literally just stick them down. And I just try to pull it right back off. Okay, you guys with me? So again, I'm just sticking them down to where I know they're not going to get knocked around through the mail and whatever. And that way they stay right where I put them, right? Isn't that pretty? So you've got that. And now we are pretty well good on that, right? So we're going to flip it over and we're going to add our preferred adhesive. Just a little dab will do if you're using the liquid glue. And we're going to glue it down flat right in the middle, as close to middle as you can. Right? It's not perfect. Definitely doesn't need to be perfect. Let's go ahead and decorate the outside as well, and then we'll move to the inside and we'll be finished with this pretty card. So we're going to do bling here, large and small. Oop, that kind of, there's that one. I'm going to put a large one down here too. Fun, right? I love those. They're so pretty how they catch the light. Can you guys see how pretty that is? Love it with this beautiful bow. Now you can tell how much longer this one is. This one has been tossed to and fro, I'm telling you, in my bag probably 15 times. All right, it's not as pretty. But I love the card. I hope you do too. Okay, so then on the inside, we have one last piece left, and it's the same arch, the same size as this one here. We're just going to open this up, and we'll pull open the other one. And what we can do is add the little confetti in our basic beige. I felt like the white really would stand out much better than what I used originally on the basic beige. So that's why we're using it. So we're going to grab the little confetti that's in the stamp set. If I can find my small, here we go. And literally, I am just going to stamp down twice in random kind of shape, right? So it's not so uniform. And then we're going to glue that part down, and our card is complete. Isn't that awesome? You don't want to adhere this on dimensionals for the inside. It may be a little too thick to go through the mail, unless you're going to actually just give it to someone, in which case that would be fine. So there we go, my friends. Card number 2. How do you love that? Isn't that fun? All right, now we're going to get to card number 3. Let's go ahead and clean our mess up a little bit here, kind of tidy up a little bit. This one is a fun fold as well, and it opens up this way, and I love it. It features Lost Lagoon and Pool Party. Pool Party is one of my favorite colors, and I just love it again with this beautiful ribbon, how it sparkles and just shines. So we'll get to that one as well. Okay, so for this one, we are going to grab your kit out and your designer paper, and we are going to, still getting my stuff together here as well, choose the paper that you would want. I think I might do the same paper that I did, but I need a bigger piece, it looks like. So you have 2 different designs of Lost Lagoon. So you have this wider, kind of more open floral with this like really cool kind of like chevron-y. Is that chevron? Or I don't know, diamonds? Something like that, diamond shaped. And then you've got this really pretty, more busy floral, but I really like it. And then on the back side is that diamond, or that little almost diamond dot that I used on the back. So I'm going to use that same piece. I may use this for my little side element, so I'll bring that out. We'll cut it all together, so choose which one you want. Okay. Just doing it all step by step. Easy does it. Making sure not to lose my die pieces. And grab all my card pieces, pull them out. Okay. Make sure not to lose that itty bitty little piece for your flowers. Okay, that's the petal pink. All right, so what we're going to do first is, let me pull the instructions up on this one. And all right, so on this card, you are going to have, you've got your card base, and that is Pool Party. It's 5.5 by 8.5. You're going to score it in half at 4 1/4. Make sure you don't cut it. All right. Actually, hang on, time out. I think I screwed that up. You cut it at 4 1/4 and 2 1/8, right? So that 2 1/8 is 2 dots past the 2. It's half of the 4 1/4, so that it does this kind of a open that way. Okay, so there we go for that. And then you've also got this other piece of Lost Lagoon, which is going to, it's 4 by 5 1/4, and that's layer 2. That is going to be our piece that we actually decorate. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that off to the side. We're going to figure out how we need to cut our 2 designer series papers. Now you can use whatever you want on those. You don't have to do the same thing. But for layer 3, we're going to do 1/2 inch by 4 inch. We're going to do 2 of these, and that's the one I did this diamond on. So, and those are the 2 sides. So what I'm going to do, let's see, how wide is this? Not quite 4. All right, so I need to cut this 1 inch. I'm gonna go on that side instead. 1/2 inch, not 1 inch. 1/2 inch by 4 inches. Let me do it on this side actually. If you are cutting something that's less than 1 inch wide, you want to use the right side of your Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer, just because it's a lot easier to keep that straight. You've got this much surface versus that much surface. Trying to do it on this side, you're kind of teetering, you're going to get crooked paper cut, right? So do it on this side. Line your paper along here, line up to 1/2 inch, and then you cut it. Okay, and I need 4 inches long, so I need to do 2 of these. And then I'll cut each one of those 2 down to 4 inches long. And again, I can do those at the same time. You don't have to. So I've got those 2 pieces. And then my directions say the Serene Love at 3 3/4 inches by 4. Let me just double check that really quick. So that's 3 3/4 inches. 4 is top to bottom, and 3 3/4 is left to right. So that's width. All right. This is a non-directional paper, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to cut mine at 4 inches off the large 12 by 12, just because that's easier for me to keep even cuts along my strips of designer paper. If that confuses you, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. It's just kind of the way I do my designer paper. Okay, so here we go. We have a full piece of the basic white, which should be on the inside. And then I have a smaller piece for our car, which is a little bit different than what I've done the others, right? But before we get to that, I am going to line this up. So my 4 inches is going to be from top to bottom. And I'm going to align these little strips, again, top to bottom. And then there's a little bit of Lost Lagoon cardstock showing through on the edge, and then a little bit more here closer to this side of this designer paper. Hopefully I am making sense. If not, please ask me. Available for questions even beyond the time that we're doing this class, okay? So there we go. So that's the way it's going to look, and you can kind of eyeball it and see where it's going. I thought it was easier to go ahead and glue these 2 down first. Again, I don't want a lot of glue, but by lining those up and laying it out before I actually glue it down helps me tremendously. And that way I can get it exactly where I know it needs to go. Right? Same thing on this side, so I'll start on the ends and then work to the center, since I want that middle piece centered. Leaving a little edge again. I'm going to match the left side. Doing that. And then I'm going to adhere this part before I do that, you'll see in the directions it says to wrap your ribbon. So grab your ribbon and wrap your ribbon. Again, we're going up here at the top, right? So I'm just going to lay that out, wrap it, tie a bow. You can tie a bow on the left or the right, whatever you want. I'll just stay consistent with my original card here. We're not adhering it down, so it'll move. You can make it however big or small you want. Did I get that in there? No. Okay, now I'm tying a bow. Okay, there we go. That's where I kind of put some glue on there. But can you see how I've got it a little bit, it's a little, I like to do my bows a little bit tight so that they hold really nice and steady. Don't worry if yours isn't. You can always add some mini glue dots to keep it nice and straight where you want it. So once you have your ribbon tied where you want it, then you'll add your glue on the back of this panel. All right, makes sense. Okay, and then we will glue this down. Not cutting my ribbon quite yet. I want to make sure that I get it exactly the way I want it and adhered down. Okay. Perfect. I like that. All right, and so then I'm going to go ahead and snip on those. Seems like I'm leaving the tails a little longer on this batch of cards than I was the first. It's fine either way. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to grab my small piece of basic white and my Memento black. And again, I'm going to grab my the outline first on my large block. Get that all set down. So I hope you've enjoyed this class. Certainly fun to put it together for you and to come on this fun video and actually clean this off here, to actually do it with you, for you, and kind of not really in person, but on the video. And then we're going to grab our inside of our car here. And let me scroll down on my directions real quick. And Lost Lagoon. So you have a choice. You can either do the Lost Lagoon, which I did, or you could actually do Pool Party. I'm going to try this one in Pool Party, just to show you a little bit different look. So again, line the windows. And I did not stamp off on this one. Pool Party is a little bit lighter, but whoa, that was not so light, was it? That's what the full-on Pool Party looks like. So you know you can stamp off, like the directions say in Lost Lagoon, or you can do the Pool Party stamped off or full-fledged, whatever. All right, so we've got that. Let me go ahead and grab the other components here to the tires. Where's my tire? Looks like it might be, where's it at? It didn't go very far. I do know that much. It's not here. Maybe it's on one of these other pieces over here. This is why I typically try to keep my plastic on my on my stamps so it doesn't get, they don't go missing, right? Okay, and then we're gonna do the gray granite for our tire. Gonna go full strength on that. There's that one. That one. And you can either stamp off on the pool party for the windows, or you can use an alternative, which I would say would be like a Stampin' Blend. And you can just kind of go in the windows, just kind of like this. And that way it kind of looks like a window. And then I'm going to take my dark petal pink or light petal pink and go over the tail lights. That's fun. Something different again. And then we will go ahead and run the, let me make sure this is correct. So we are going to run in Lost Lagoon the bumper. And let's see if there's anything else. Yes, there is something else. We need to also run the banner. In this one right here, and we'll stamp that. You can stamp it first, or let's do that. Let's do the Lost Lagoon. Let's see, Lost Lagoon. Did I already put it away? Yes, I did. Lost Lagoon here. And we are going to do Just Married. No, that says to the happy couple. Where's Just Married? Here it is, Just Married. I am just messing this all up. This needs to be in Memento Black. Just Married is in Memento Black. Too many things here. Just Married in Memento Black. And then the outline stamp is going to be in Lost Lagoon. Where is my larger block? Here it is. Okay. So that's in Lost Lagoon. Just get it right inside of there. There we go. And then we can die cut that. Okay. I believe those are the only things that we need to die cut on this card. Nope, we need this, and we need the petal pink, and we need to do the little flowers, which there's one little die for both of the flowers. Actually, there's two dies, but you could run both if you wanted and have extras. Sure it's big enough to do that. Fits just perfectly. Make sure it doesn't overlap when you run it through. So we'll be back in 1 second to do this, and the bumper. So fun. Get these little flowers here. Okay, flowers tend to stick on that plate. There we go. And then got our Just Married banner, right? Our bumper. And that's all we need. Okie doke. So let's assemble. So here's our card again. Oops, I forgot. I need to cut this guy out too. Let me go cut him out real fast. And then we'll be golden. 1 minute. Okay, now we're good. There we go. All of our pieces, and this will be our cheers, right? So we'll go ahead and put that on. All right, so again, we're going to start with our bumper. Gonna add some adhesive here. And just attach it as we normally would, right? And then we will grab our card base, and we are going to adhere our card Lost Lagoon to the front of our card. So a tip that I have for you is to line it up backwards and hold it so that you can see your adhesive is not going to go above that line there where you have the pool party, right? So it's just kind of a built-in guide for you, if that makes sense. If not, don't worry about what I'm saying. Just put your glue on. Don't go above the line though, where you know you're gonna have it sticking out, okay? You can double check yourself. Looks good to me. Looks good, right? It looks good here. So then what we're gonna do is I like to put, let me open this card up like this. So I like to go ahead and attach the basic white down and then stamp it and figure out where we are going to adhere and pop up our little banner, the Just Married banner, so that everything kind of is individual to your card. Because if you scored in a different spot or whatever, you may like it more closed or more open, just whatever, okay? So we can go ahead and pop up our car on dimensionals. Let me find my basic regular dimensionals. So I'm going to, again, do my tires. I love this color combination too. Super pretty. Let me cut some of these side pieces. All right. Like a good stable car, right? Okay. You know, the other good thing about having the videos is, again, you can come back to these time after time after time. They live out on YouTube, so they're never going to go away, which is also nice. You've got your tutorial, so you are good to go, friends. That's awesome, right? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere my car down here like so. And then I'm going to get my hearts stamp, and I want to get Petal Pink out, and I want to determine where I'm going to prop that easel card with the easel part of it open. So probably like here. This is how I did it when I made it originally. So just kind of like putting my hearts around here, and then maybe some kind of back there. And then what I did was took my Just Married and added the mini dimensionals. I put several of mine. I can do them all the way around, right? And again, I want to prop that up. Maybe I need some more hearts too. Perfect. Okay, so there we go. And then I'm just going to take my liquid glue, and I think on my original card, I just went ahead and glued them to the corners here. You can use a glue dot too if you want. Whatever you're more comfortable with. Keep that flap out of your glue. And add your flowers the right direction. And there's almost like a little indentation in the middle, which I thought that is perfect for that beautiful rhinestone. So that's exactly what I did. Took my iridescent gems, used the little ones, and stuck them, whoops, come on now. My glue isn't dry all the way on my flowers. And stuck those right down on there. And you may need to burnish that score line. Looks like I need to. To go ahead and hold that down. And then we will cap our petal pink. We have everything we need there. I'm going to get Lost Lagoon, and I'm going to, one more piece of cardstock left. It's a piece of petal. No, that is Pool Party. And we're going to get the cheers and a block. You're going to stamp, make sure that's straight. I chose to do it kind of in the middle, but along the top or bottom edge. The reason is because I wanted to banner both the flag, you know, to two ends. So what I did is I stamped on the edge there. You can do the top or the bottom, whichever. Put it in your paper trimmer and just literally cut it in half, right? And then you can make it however long or short. It's longer than what you need for cheers, but because seriously you could use whatever sentiment that you want, but you cut in the middle, just a little dash, and then you go from each corner out going in to that where you stopped on your center piece there, on your center cut. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to do some mini dimensionals because I cut mine really small. Okay, and then stick it on. Wherever you want it. And then I'm going to add some more bling. Cheers. And there we go with our third card in our class. Is that not so fun? I hope you guys enjoyed this. It has been super fun coming to you on a recorded video and showing you these fun cards that I hope you're able to share with some of your friends and family as they celebrate a wedding. So thank you again for taking our class from Judy and I. We are very excited to bring you this, and hopefully we're able to bring you more in the future. See you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.